trying, one brick at a time.
There you go. So what's happening?
It's been exciting. We were not here last week, so a lot's happened.
I know.
In 2 weeks.
From
Politics.
Stock market.
That stock market thing. So there's been crashes in the stock market. There's been crashes in people's political careers.
Oh.
There's been, holy mackerel, there's been jumps in the stock market. There's been people jumping out of the political race. There's refugees leaving countries. There's some dying in trucks. There's some countries saying go away. There's some saying come on down. We'll take as many as you can shoot our way.
Yeah.
There's been fuel for everybody, it seems like. Gas prices are down.
Oh yes, I saw that. So many people right now don't have jobs.
So we're in Missouri, and I read this morning that the unemployment rate in this state fell to just a skosh over 5%, because in the state of Missouri there was something ridiculous, something like 70,000 jobs created in this state.
Right. Real jobs?
Are they real jobs?
Yeah, that's
right.
Are
they part-time jobs that have benefits, or is this a part-time job making $9 an hour where the company doesn't have to give you benefits, or you're put in a position where you have no choice but to try to get on Obamacare that you just cannot afford? Are they real jobs? And I have to say, probably not, and that's another piece of the chaos that we're in, is we're not really giving people jobs. We're giving people something to do that's going to pay them a couple of bucks, that after taxes, they're probably only going to be making $6.50 an hour. I was at 2 places this week, 2 that had signs in the door that said, now hiring $9 an hour.
Which one? Where is it?
One of them was a local burger joint up the street called Five Guys Burgers and Fries.
Okay, I think
and the other one was a clothing store called Marshall's.
Oh, they have?
So for $9 an hour, and they've got this up in the window like this is a big deal.
Right.
People should want to come here for $9 an hour.
Did you see applicants? Did you see people applying?
I saw one person. One person inside of Five Guys. I was there eating a burger and fries with my wife.
All right.
One guy, he was sitting there filling out an application. Kudos to him, looking for a job.
Yes.
The amusing part was right outside, there was a guy standing there with his cardboard sign.
Oh my.
Okay. He had his bicycle parked underneath the tree next to him, so he was getting around on his bicycle.
Right.
Where he had a cooler.
Oh my, it's a picnic!
Serious, he had a cooler, he had some bottles of water, and people are walking out, or driving past him.
Giving them money?
A couple of bucks. I will bet any amount of money that gentleman made more than $9 an hour standing there with a cardboard sign. So you tell me, $9 an hour to go stand over a hot grill at Five Guys Burgers and Fries, or probably making a whole heck of a lot more holding up a cardboard sign. So $9 an hour is another piece of the chaos that continues to fall on top of us because we're not giving people a real livable wage.
Right. So what happened to all the jobs? Where are they? I mean, where are they created from? Where are they?
I don't have an answer. A lot of it comes down to just the state of our economy. And if you really get the chance to break it down, I can go down and look at the housing market. Okay, if the housing market makes it difficult for people to get a loan, people aren't going to be able to buy a house.
Right.
If people can't buy a house, builders can't build. So if you have a contractor that can't build a house, they can't go to various places to buy things like wood and windows and tile and hire more people. Well, as a result, those factories that are turning that material out, they're not going to have nearly as many customers, so they're not going to be able to employ nearly as many workers. They're going to have to lay people off. Well, the places that actually sell those hard goods to those factories, they're not going to be able to have places to sell those hard goods. Now, upside, sure, there'll be more trees and other items and natural resources in place, but they're not going to have customers. So at the end of the day, that turns into a problem. Now, when we start to look at bigger industries like doctors and lawyers and items along those lines, there's always going to be people who want to be a doctor or a lawyer. But now wait a minute, if I can't get a job as a doctor or a lawyer, do I really want to take on $100,000+ worth of student loans? Does that make any sense? Absolutely not. Well, then if I've got that much debt on me and I can't get a loan to buy a house, it doesn't make any sense. It's a vicious circle. So at some point, I know we're kind of crazy about spending billions of dollars on a new fighter jet. I think the F-35 was a multi-billion-dollar product.
They're expensive.
My question then becomes, why are we doing this and not, in some cases, helping to rebuild our economy or helping people to get out from underneath their student loans, or taking something simple like the silly Obamacare system and creating a standardized healthcare system, something similar to what Canada has, because then all of a sudden these $9 an hour jobs, which is still a crap rate, but now you don't have to worry about having medical insurance. You can worry about going in there for $9 an hour, showcasing your skill set, and getting that raise or getting taken on to a full-time, higher salary job.
That's why his message, your guy's message, is resonating, because he wants to bring
Make
the job
America
back.
great again.
Yeah, and I wonder what's the first step that he's gonna do, and I think all these jobs that are being created out, he's gonna bring it back here.
I think the first thing he's going to say is what Donald Trump has become notorious for saying on television is "you're fired." I think he's going to go to several people in several government agencies, blast them out the door, get some people in there that make sense, and it'll probably start off with the Fed. Our interest rates, do they make sense? How are we managing our money? Why are we borrowing? Why are we in debt to so many countries when we've got resources here?
Yeah, I think that's very promising for so many people. That's why he's instead of people expected him to disappear after the debate and the coming days, he's becoming even very, very strong. And
he's real. He is for real this time. That's for sure.
And they didn't expect that, right?
They weren't expecting it, and I think a lot of people were looking at it thinking Donald Trump was just going to be a flash in the pan. He's made it very clear that he's here to stay. He made it very clear this week that he is going to be following the values and behaviors of the Republican Party. And with everything that's gone on in the world of politics, certain Democrats looking like they're not going to be in a very strong position, certain Democrats, Vice President Biden, saying that he's not going to run. I think it's going to get interesting to see who is going to really give this man a viable run for his money. Because if you want to go on character, they'll lose a character debate, so will anybody else. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to who's reasonably going to help knock this mess down that we're sitting under, clean it all off, and help us rebuild something that's sturdy.
And you've been saying this when we first started. You have made this argument very clearly, and that's why I like promoting this, because this is not what I have thought, and you have this already figured out,
I'm not running for president.
And you are not. Maybe you should.
I'm not on the
Are you sure you don't want to run for the Democratic Party? Because they need a good candidate that makes sense.
The Democratic Party needs a candidate that makes sense, and I think there's one that is sitting there extremely quiet right now.
I think I know who you're talking about.
So, you tell me who you think I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about Elizabeth Warren.
I think Elizabeth Warren.
All right. Well, how long before they decide that it's time for her to come out of the shell and?
Well, we know that
don't you think it's too late already? Because you have to have some infrastructure already built and solid to go out there. Because it's kind of like late. Everybody's already out, campaigning, and she's there. So I'm not sure.
Well, let's take a look at Hillary Clinton here for just a second.
Oh, okay.
So if old girl did not have all this, and I'm going to focus just on the email debacle that was.
And server, right? The server.
Yeah, the email, the server. That has just absolutely destroyed her credibility, and her trust factor is just plummeting like a rock. Had that not happened, anybody in the Democratic world would be fighting a fruitless battle to try to run against her.
Right.
She's got all the funding locked up, and she's hands down got the nomination.
The name, everything, everything.
So what happens is all of this starts to land on top of her. Her credibility starts to drop. People start to scratch their head and say, okay, what's Vice President Biden going to do? He thought about it. He talked to his family about it. He put together an exploratory committee. And he said over the past couple of days that his family just does not have the emotional energy to do it anymore.
Right.
He lost his son recently. It's just not in the cards for him at this point. He's done this game before. He's not going to run. So, okay, head scratchers, who's out there?
Bernie Sanders and O'Malley.
Okay, possibilities.
Right.
But I think when you take a look at Elizabeth Warren, now this is somebody who is a politician, not a professional businessman or businesswoman, but she has taken on big banks. She has fought staunchly against bailouts. She's a big fan of using money the right way, and I'm going to use Trump's lines, making America great again. I think on that side,
on the left side, on the other side,
she has the tools, the resources, and I think she can garner the support to do it. She's got some support from large names in Hollywood and some other places in politics to support her. Now, does she have enough momentum to beat Donald Trump right now? It's extremely hard to say, but here's what's interesting. What she does not bring is a bunch of baggage, and what she does bring is a lot of good ideas.
Right. But the funding and the supporters, where is it going to come from? I mean, that's the...
At some point, there's going to be a group of people who don't want to keep opening up their wallet towards an untrustworthy Hillary Clinton. I think those wallets are going to close, they're going to go in the back pocket, and somebody else is going to say, hey, look at me, check me out, and there's going to be less risk there. And if I'm an investor, especially now, I'm going to be more prone to make an investment in something that is going to be less risk, that's going to give me a higher yield. And I think for the Democratic Party, Elizabeth Warren is that person.
Right, but the donors are coming from the people or the organization that she probably were fighting against.
She's not going to get any love from big banks, absolutely not. But here's the question. If you're a big bank, do you want to continue to support somebody like Hillary Clinton who has got zero credibility? Or are they going to come up with their own candidate? And maybe they do.
Ooh, they're in so much struggle, I think.
It's a game of Monopoly.
Yeah.
And it really is on that side. I'm curious to see who's going to land on Boardwalk and Park Place with hotels and lose it.
Right.
I'm really going to be interested to see who works over there, but I think Elizabeth Warren has got the chops to do this. I don't think it's necessarily too late.
Nobody.